I am Rushion McDonald, the host of Money Making Conversation Masterclass, where we encourage people to stop reading other people's success stories and start planning their own. Join us as we travel across the country, visiting small businesses and interviewing celebrities to see how they're running their companies and nonprofits who are making a difference in their local communities. Now sit back and watch as we unlock the secrets to their success. Hi, I'm Rushion McDonald. I host this weekly Money Making Conversation Masterclass show. The interviews and information that this show provides are for everyone. It's time to stop reading other people's success stories and start living your own. My guest on the show today is a 25-year corporate technology veteran. She's successful in many areas as an entrepreneur in the drug testing industry and has established an award-winning consulting arm that has assisted more than 2,000 entrepreneurs and counting. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation Masterclass, Michelle Foye. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
First of all, thank you for coming on to Money Making Conversation Masterclass. A lot of people work 40-hour-week jobs. Entrepreneurship seems like a dream, and they say in my reading that black women are the number one entrepreneurs in the last 10 years. Why is that?
You know, I've read that same statistic, Rushion, and I really believe it's because we create, we birth, we create, we nurture. And those are things that really, you know, that's what entrepreneurship is made of.
Right. Like I said, we're in this company 25 years. What did you do exactly there?
So I retired myself, I say, from corporate America, and I retired as a project and program leader. So I entered corporate America with the gas company. It was a great training ground. Shout out to Atlanta Gas Light, now owned, as Southern Company. I came in as a secretary in the IT department. I started, just doing additional things. There was a lot of autonomy, so I was able to learn a whole lot in my secretarial role. I went into management consulting, so your Capgemini, your Accenture, and then I started doing independent technology consulting from the East Coast to the West Coast. So I found my niche in higher education and healthcare, so like Morehouse School of Medicine and Wake Forest Baptist. And what happened is one glorious day, June 15th, 2016, about 3 p.m., just got off a call and got a call. My oldest son, his name is DJ, his aunt called and said there was a shooting at the basketball court and they think it's DJ. And I said, I'm just thinking shot in the arm. I'm thinking it might not even be him. And that ended up being, he had been murdered. He had been shot in the back of the head and killed. And so that totally turned my world upside down. I was a newlywed, hadn't been married even a year. Mother of 7, 4 biological, 3 bonus, 4 girls and 3 boys, and, grandchildren even at that time. So immediately I started this nonprofit called the Breakthrough Foundation. And I said, I want to stand in the gap with kids. I want them to know that they have a purpose. DJ was a good kid. He was 24 years old when he was killed, but he still was a kid. Right. And I said, I want to give scholarships. I don't want kids to think that they can't make it in college because they're not going to have any money, So that was the first thing I did. But a year and a half later, I went to get a drug test for one of my technology clients, and it was very linear space.
You said linear, what do you mean?
Just basic. You walk in, a few chairs, somebody, at a counter, plexiglass, and a restroom. And that was it. He had a vending machine. That was it. I mean, it probably was 200, maybe I'm exaggerating, 200 square feet, 300 square feet. And God literally, it was like it caught up in 15 seconds. He said, I want you to learn how to do this because you're going to help save families because I am the product of alcoholism and drugs. You are going to help people get to work because you know how to get people to work as part of your technology project management. And you're going to make communities stronger because people are going to be able to get jobs.
You said you were doing things that weren't your responsibility. Exactly. And I always tell people, because everybody wants to do things and get paid for it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and I will tell you this, there's a lot of things I've done in my lifetime that I've not gotten paid for it, but the benefit of me learning that skill or doing that extra work have benefited me. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
And give us an example of how it helped you out.
Oh, wow. It helped me out right now. I just took on a client who has a home health care. Mm-hmm. She has an amazing business model. She's doing very well, but she needs some more leadership expertise on her team. Right. And simply by, stepping in and having certain conversations, that led to me becoming a fractional COO for her.
By doing extra, engaging yourself
exactly.
with a clear understanding there's, I won't say you see opportunity, but it's a DNA inside of you saying, when you see a need, you present yourself.
Right. Right. You help people.
Right.
Genuinely.
Right. Well, you had good spirit. I would say that in a complimentary way.
Thank you.
Because first of all, you're engaging, got solid spirit, knowledgeable, and then you're alert. When I say that's important, because a lot of people, they're not alert. They show up for work on time, they do what they're supposed to do, and then they leave, not seeing all the opportunities.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I really understand that as an employer. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hear people like to show up to work and there's nothing to do. They like to show up to work and do as little as possible. You're not an entrepreneur, or you got the wrong job. Mm-hmm. That is your attitude. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And because as we go through the whole thing, let's talk about setting up the drug testing, because that's your foray, a tragic situation led to this ambitious move, but there's a need you saw versus what was happening out there. Yeah. What were your thoughts? How did you pull it together?
I started my business in 2012 because I was doing the independent technology consulting. Right. And the reason why I did that is because I found that when I formed an LLC and when I had an S Corp, it allowed me to not only payroll myself and contribute to my own 401k, but it also allowed me to do 25% profit sharing. So that's a gem for all of y'all who are listening. Mm-hmm. So it cuts down all those taxable wages, right? Mm-hmm. But I wasn't a true entrepreneur, though. Mm-hmm. Because, it's easy to go get a technology contract. Right. I'm not beating down nobody's door. I'm not really doing business development in the same way as I am right now. Mm-hmm. So when I started the drug testing center, my undergrad is in management. Mm-hmm. My graduate degree is in international business. Mm-hmm. I've been sitting in the room with C-suite executives since I was 23 years old or so. So I brought all of that with me, but I really wish I had been in some of these entrepreneurship classes that are out here now.
Right.
I was doing things just by the seat of my pants.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which is typical for people of color.
Yeah. I was doing about the seat of my pants.
We don't have mentors, which are important. They can help us to pick up a phone and go, I'm about to do this. What would you recommend?
Right. But we also don't trust people to be mentors.
That's true. But I think that when you got to have a history, and then also have to have that conversation laid into you in high school. And then as you grow older, you've heard it enough to understand this is the process. Mm-hmm. And that's what we don't have in the African-American community, because we don't have entrepreneurs left and right.
Right.
We have people who work. Our cousins, our uncles, our daddies, our parents, they work for people. Mm-hmm. That entrepreneurship conversation is what we're talking about, because like I said, in 2012, you started your LLC, your S Corp. Who was available to you?
No.
Everybody was working normal jobs.
Right.
Continue.
But you know what? You even inspired me, Rushion. You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. Okay. Quick story. Mm-hmm. So, I listened to Steve Harvey Morning Show. I remember him saying or reading that you were his business partner. Mm-hmm. So I followed you on LinkedIn. Now we're talking 10, 12 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And all I would say to myself is, if Steve can live the life that he lived, no joke, I can do it too. Yes. Real conversation. So even just not being a groupie or, not even getting too deep, but just knowing that somebody turned their life around to how they wanted it, right? And that they had somebody standing with them.
Right.
Even just knowing that inspired me.
Right, the whole trust and the mentorship.
Absolutely.
And like I said, and I'd say this to you again, you have a great quality. And so this conversation of success that we're talking about, your ambitious role of taking on the responsibility of yourself, not being traumatized by disaster. And I'm not minimizing the death of your son, but that's a very disastrous, unforeseen moment.
Oh.
And a lot of people shut down.
Let me tell you, it was hard for me to come over here because before my son was killed, I was pushing him to get his own apartment right down the street. Wow. And so when I came, I wanted to see where I was coming first, and I'm just like, talking like DJ, I'm gonna get through it, And so I always consider these to be full circle moments where Rushion McDonald, the amazing businessman in all his glory, that I'm sitting on his couch talking to him, and he has no idea that for 10, 12 years from afar, he was a figure that I did not know, but just a figure of this can be done. Black people can work together. Black people can be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I do this show. I may not know anybody out there who's listening to me, but if you grab a crumb of this conversation and realize that you did it. And because we get caught up into this celebrityism, into massive social media numbers, and that's rare. Everyday successful people is very, very accomplishable. You can accomplish that task. And so as we were talking earlier about the drug testing, you went to set that up. Did you do it by yourself or you had help?
No, I absolutely did it by myself. So I started off with workplace drug testing. So pre-employment, random, post-accident.
So did you have a little small 200 square foot room?
I had a little bit more than that. I was in Old National. I was on Old National Highway, 55260 Old National Highway. I had that office for 3 years. I even transferred to probably close to 2,500 square feet. Because I was able to get a medical director, lab director, partner with a nurse practitioner. Shout out to Kayana Moreland, My Health Reassurance, Atlanta Aesthetics. And it went from just drug testing to lab work, from lab work to acute care, from acute care to mentorship and expanding. So essentially what I did from that one step was create a universe of drug testing centers. And it was all...
But did you know you was doing that?
No, not one day. That wasn't even my intention. My intention was if you are an employer, you got a good employee that got drug problems, alcohol problems, let us help you take them through a program. Don't throw them away because that ain't going to help. Right. That was really what I was
The driving force.
Yeah.
Michelle, drug testing.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
I personally will have no clue as to how to pursue that opportunity. So there has to be some degree of education. Expand on it a little bit on how you really built that part of your brand or your business model.
Absolutely. I'm going to share with you. So you can go get yourself set up.
Okay.
All right. So number one, there's workplace drug testing. Okay. That's really what we focus on. And so with workplace drug testing, you're going to partner with your big folks. You're going to partner with LabCorp. You're going to partner with Quest, unless you really want to go deep into lab and establish what you call a SAMHSA certified lab that allows you to do the processing yourself. So you make your lab relationships, and then you connect yourself with third-party administrators. So the people that do the scheduling, like way back when, let's pretend you had some job way back when, and they would have sent you an authorization and said, hey, Rushion, go up the street to Holcomb Bridge and, get a drug test. That's a third-party relationship. Right. I'm a third-party administrator. So what I have done is not only train folks, but for the people who are live and who are in relationship, in my transportation and medical network, which is trademarked, by the way, who are in there. When business comes to me, if I can send it to them, I send it to them. That way we have community wealth. So I'm in Virginia. No, I wasn't in Virginia Beach. I was in Tuskegee. I was in Tuskegee, got a call. Driver had an accident.
Right.
I called one of my local partners. That company is going to pay me, and I'm going to split that with my local partner.
Now, how do you screen them? How do you bring these partners or these affiliates onto your brand? That you can trust them.
Right. Well, it don't take long to figure out if you can trust people. Let's be real, right? But really, they come to me as clients, and I convert them into partners, if that makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's really my goal. But you can't tell everybody that up front.
Right.
So it's
kind of like you screening.
Exactly. So you got to see how the relationship progresses, but you can operate a drug testing center. I didn't have to go get a brick and mortar. I could be mobile.
Okay.
So somebody could call me right now, and if I want to, I'll take the call and I'll go do the drug screen.
Right.
I can do it at a hotel. I can do it at a grocery store. I can, do it at a gas station.
Just like a notary. Wow.
And so most of the time, since you said notary, people who are interested in this business are typically people who have mobile businesses like notary, nurses, nurse practitioners, serial entrepreneurs, people who have money and they want to invest in something else. I get a lot of tax people too, people who have seasonal work. So you don't have to start it as your primary business model. It really can be a bolt-on. And that's where the consulting comes in at.
Right.
Because from a strategic planning perspective, I want you to tell me what is your overall goal for your life. Right. And then let's figure out how to make that work from a business standpoint.
Right. Consulting. As I'm listening to you can't find a better mentor than you.
Oh,
so if you're going to consult, then I want to come to you. You have no problem sharing your success. No problem articulating why you're accomplishing these. Because that's what bothers me. Because people will talk about success, but they leave out a lot of steps. And those steps are what prevent you from being successful. Tell us about your consulting agency.
So remember I mentioned I work for some Big Four consulting. And so really when I started my drug testing center, I was leaning on my education, my corporate experience, and my consulting experience, right? And what I ended up where I am right now is back into consulting. So I shut down my office 2 years ago and I went to a home office and I only work on a consulting basis with my clients. So if you want to start a healthcare company, really any company, but if you want to start a healthcare company, if you need help with sales and marketing, if you need brand management, we've won 3 government contracts.
That's not easy.
That's not easy at all. That's not easy. And let me tell you, somebody told me, they said, 70% of people who are in sam.gov will never get a contract. They said 30% of the other 30%, it'll take them for 4 years. And I told them that doesn't apply to me. That may apply to somebody. You can't see. That's another thing as an entrepreneur. You have to learn how to chew the meat and spit out the bones. And that didn't apply to me. And it didn't, because since that conversation, that's where 2 of the contracts were won. I liken it to when I got married. My husband and I met and married in 107 days. Now 107 days. And people, they saw me as a divorcee and a single woman. But when we got engaged, it was, well, why are you doing that? And you just like with the drug testing center, why you want to open up a drug testing center? Is that profitable? Is it this? Is it that? And it's like, if you're going to be in entrepreneurship and if you're going to step away from that steady paycheck, you have to be okay with risk. You got to have a high tolerance for risk. You have to be okay knowing what did God tell you to do, and you have to be obedient to that. So that's really what I operated. Like God called me to it. He going to get me through it. And that's been true since I started.
Now, how does one get in touch with you?
So you can reach me at www.precisbrand.com.
Now, you said in our introduction, you impacted over 2,000.
3,000.
3,000.
My team need to update that number. It's 3,000.
3,000. How?
I had a brand ambassador, Candace Holyfield. She had a community of nurses. We're post-pandemic, right? People are looking for other ways to, everybody want to remember a pandemic. Everybody want 10, 20 streams of income, right?
Right.
As
I always talk about multiple streams of income.
I know. Okay. Everybody wanted 10 streams of income. And so I literally came to Instagram teaching this for $99. For $99, I would give you all the information to set up a drug testing center.
$99.
Now, ask me how many people took it. Ask me how many people who actually took the information and did something with it. Less than 10.
Was it because of the work, or did they not understand their ability to make money as an entrepreneur?
I think they weren't true entrepreneurs. I mean, out of all those people to date for that group, right? I'm gonna say probably about 10.
Did you have to change your marketing model?
I did not have to change my marketing model. Per se, I changed my business model, meaning I took the price up. So right now we card out, a client typically spends about $25,000 with us on average, because we understood that people needed a certain level of investment, right? And we understood that they needed a certain mindset. And sometimes the two go hand in hand, not all the time, but sometimes they go hand in hand. And so I got tired of seeing people pay me and not execute, because like you said, I'm gonna tell you everything because it's from here. So I'm gonna tell you everything you need. I have no reason to hold it back.
So as I close this interview, and it's a great interview, what makes you successful?
I think resilience. I had to remind myself I'm an author. I left my book at home. But I wrote a book called Unbroken. And it talks about courage. It talks about commitment. And it talks about consistency. I think the reason why I'm successful, honestly, is because I never had nothing to lose. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's blind courage, I call, because of the fact that, I wake up and I will tell you, I'm not happy when I get up, because I get up at 4:30, but that's my commitment time. And so you have to be consistent with your commitment time. Whatever time you choose, you can't hit the snooze button on it, because it's just going to change your whole plan for that day. And so when I wake up and I move forward, then the plan becomes more and more clear as to why I'm and what I have to do that day. And so the average person, the reason they show up to work, they don't know why they're coming to work. They don't have a plan. They don't have a desire to be there. And so but if you woke up with an idea, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to accomplish, then you'll be more enthusiastic and you will accomplish more. And like we talked about earlier, you should always show up for work wanting to do more, wanting to learn more, and to engage yourself to be successful. And that's my burning desire with this show, is to bring on individuals, honest individuals. And most of my guests are honest, but you are exceptional.
Thank you, Rushion. I appreciate that.
You are exceptional.
Well, I thank you for being an example. I don't think it's your show, but I want to make sure you get credit, because I'm telling you, just knowing that you were standing next to somebody in partnership, it did a lot for me.
Well, thank you. And thank you for coming on Money Making Conversation Masterclass. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.